Welcome to Center Stage. I'm Bankole Thompson. You're watching the program here on WADL TV 38, Detroit's urban TV station. You can always read my articles in the Michigan Chronicle newspaper. Most of the time you hear the saying, it goes like this: all politics is local. Well, this week we're looking at diversity in our politics. We'll look at countdown to the elections in November, where we have the candidates running for City Council and the City Charter Commission coming up on the program. But first we want to look at diversity in our politics as it relates to the U.S. Supreme Court, with the appointment or the final nomination and the confirmation of U.S. Supreme Court Justice Sonia Sotomayor, the first Hispanic justice to make it to the highest court in the land. Now, we talk about this happening in Washington, but what is the ripple effect here in Detroit? Of course, the connection here is Southwest Detroit, the Hispanic community in this region. That has been a vibrant community. Well, we have someone here who is joining us, who is the president of the Michigan Hispanic Bar Association, also the chairman of the Michigan Commission on Spanish-Speaking Affairs for the state of Michigan, Lawrence Garcia. Thank you very much for coming on Center Stage.
Gracias. Gracias, amigo. Thank you for having me.
Yes, sir. Let's begin quickly in terms of just the nomination and the eventual, of course, confirmation of Judge Sonia Sotomayor. What is the feeling right now in places like Southwest Detroit and the Hispanic community as a whole?
Tremendous pride and also a great degree of relief that the debate, even though it pursued some racist lines for a moment, that the confirmation was an eventual success. And I think that gives a lot of folks relief that Hispanics were able to navigate those tricky waters just like many others have had to do before.
As a Hispanic lawyer, did you think that this was going to happen?
Absolutely. No, the votes were there in the Senate, so I felt very confident about that from the beginning. But what I was worried about was the debate becoming something that would mar or give a black eye to the Hispanic community. And I think there was an attempt at that with the much ado about nothing concerning some remarks that Justice Sotomayor made about her Latina heritage and how that might make her a better judge in some circumstances. But, you know, I think we took the high road on that, and I think that the tempest in that teapot played out, and she was eventually confirmed.
Did you think that you would see a Hispanic justice make it to the U.S. Supreme Court?
No, I was really impressed with this right out of the box appointment by the Obama administration. It just hasn't been enough of a potential. In the past, there haven't been candidates that were front runners that were Hispanics. So this is fantastic.
So what is the feeling right now in the Hispanic community, in your organization, as far as Judge Sotomayor is concerned? What are they saying?
Yeah, great pride. And looking at this as a real victory. We're also receiving a lot of attention. I think the Hispanic demographic is now receiving a lot more credibility or attention, even locally. My being here on this program, I think, is a great thanks to the achievement of Justice Sotomayor. And what we're trying to do is better organize to be more of a forceful political and social voice to contribute to what's going on in America. And as you said, all politics being local, there is a local group of leaders. We've met on the 21st to try and set that agenda for the Hispanic community and make something of this wave that's going on right now of attention being paid. So we want to better organize and better focus our efforts to make a greater contribution.
I want to talk about brown and black politics as far as Hispanic and African Americans are concerned, but let's just explore deeper here in terms of the appointment of Judge Sotomayor to the U.S. Supreme Court. Does it influence, does it change the direction of the Michigan Hispanic Bar Association in terms of where you see yourself into the future?
Certainly. I've had some conversations with Hester Wheeler from the local chapter of the NAACP, and I think that those brown-black efforts are becoming more of having more currency. I think there's more interest in doing them, and I think a lot of folks like the NAACP recognize that with the growth of the Hispanic demographic, there's a tremendous opportunity for all persons of color. It doesn't matter brown or black. I think there's a lot of common interest shared by those two groups. And when you consider, for example, that in Maricopa County, between 1980 and 2006, in one generation, in 26 years, you had a six-fold increase in the population that is Hispanic. That's recognized by the census. that's an amazing growth. And I think those growth rates are what are catching the attention of everyone, including leaders of the African American community, to try and partner up and let those synergies take hold and do the best for both sides.
We saw the way the Republican Party took a swipe at Judge Sotomayor. A lot of people said, they were, ruling themselves out as far as the Hispanic vote is concerned for if it is 2010 or 2012. Do you think that's what they did?
Yeah, a little bit. I thought it was very dangerous, the game that they were playing in trying to take make those attacks on her. But I don't think that it was pursued in such a strident fashion that there's no way for them to recover. I think a lot of this politically will kind of pass away with time. And in terms of the next presidential election, for example, who knows? I think the Hispanic vote is still somewhat up for grabs.
You're involved in your community and in the Bar Association here. I mean, what I'm trying to get at is there a reason for the Hispanic voters to support the Republican Party?
I think a lot of people look at faith-based issues, look at pro-life issues, and being a very Catholic group, relatively speaking, Hispanics want to line up with Republicans on those kinds of social issues. But immigration and the economy have been such forefront problems for the Hispanic community as well as the rest of America that I think that Hispanics have looked at some of the other concerns that aren't moral concerns or value-based concerns, but really, how am I going to make it to my next paycheck? Do I get to stay in this country? Do I have to live in fear of the ICE folks raiding my place of business? And with those issues, I think Hispanics see more to be gained in the Democratic side. And I think that...
But with Judge Sotomayor, you keep hope alive, or is it an unfair expectation of what Sotomayor can do?
No, I think that her contribution will probably be one that favors Hispanics, but as a Supreme Court justice, I don't know how much she can affect policy. I mean,
she's not a lawmaker.
Right. There's some landmark decisions that come down every once in a while. I think her contribution is more of a symbolic one, to show that there is a currency, there is some value to having Hispanics being involved in the national stage of American politics.
Lawrence Garcia, let's take a quick break. When we come back, we'll just talk about just this historical marriage, the first African-American president selecting the first Hispanic justice to the U.S. Supreme Court. Of course, again, on the ripple effects in Southwest Detroit and all other politics, the Census Bureau. When we come back, you're watching Center Stage on WADL TV 38.